Hello you guys, I am pleased to announce this is my first 4K scripted video. As I chose this video game in particular because I feel like this game did not get its just due from me, as I feel with some games I reviewed thus far. This will be the first installment of my updated reviews, but enough about pre-production. Let's talk about why we're here. After watching Precaspri's Let's Play of Digimon World 1, and link will be in the description, I feel like I can assess this game more properly and as I should have did the first time. This will be my first Digimon World review, and from my personal experience, so just let me get that out of the way. First, let's talk about how well the visuals are for starters. The game is beautiful. Graphically, the opening cutscene gives you a strong sense of epicness the game has. Even in the actual game, you could get lost in attention to detail to every world, which is absolutely stunning. Now, as far as audio goes, I'm pleased to have dealt with in different other Digimon games. It has a few English clips in, but mostly it's text for me, which is better because it don't distract you from the Japanese only dubs such as the Cybersloot games have, which I highly recommend. A good game. But yeah, for this game it has some English clips and some voice acting, which I really appreciated, and I'm surprised they could have just went text only or just Japanese only like they did the other game, so I'm very pleased about that. Next, let's move on to the story. To be quite frank, the story for me, for reasons I'll talk about later, wasn't really the meat and potatoes for me. And I like the core story, but to put it simply, the premise of the game is coming up from the bottom, building bonds with Digimon as you create the utopia from the ground up. And just like real life, they have a life and death cycle, which touches you. And when you look back and you see all the battles you guys had, what you train with, and you seeing them on their last leg, can really have an effect on you. And seeing them recard to the start of the Digimon lifestyle again, not to mention resonance from the other Digimon series and their lore and how they tie into the game specifically, it could really have a nice, deeply connection to the Digimon inside the game. So I really like that, seeing with the premise just coming up, and that's really most of what the game is about. And the story is good, but all those lores and situation events, it really helps you get a feel for the game. Majority of the residents you recruit to join your utopia contribute to the city one way or another, which entices you to go out and recruit as many as possible. By the end of my extended playthrough, with an accumulation of 122 hours and with all 200 Digimon recruited, from the rookies to ultras, which in doing so, I probably say around mid-game mark, you have everything you need to get going. And it's not linear like most of the time. You can recruit how you see fit and to make your overall experience of the game better and make it more easier to traverse throughout the story, EX missions, and just overall recruiting. Like once you build, it's a game you really build upon yourself. I like that in the event that you're struggling, running low on things, or just need some charity, the game always gives some type of leeway, one way or another, which will always be needed in the early game. And how things are, you will eventually do better and then the last. And a primary example of this is the life and death span. The life and death span of the next generation will always do better, whether it be stats, training, longer lifespan due to reincarnation. And once you get a certain part of your residency, through your recruitment, you will start getting this thing called Digicores. Digicores are just a straight up Digivolve, and you basically only have to meet the requirements of the leveling, which is be rookie, mega, champion, ultra, etc. And that's really good because it kind of ignores the life and death style, and you don't have to take your time training and doing other things that will take up your lifespan. Your Digimon die faster just because it was trying to get to a mega, and you won't be able to enjoy your leveling by then. So I really like how the game gives you that type of leeway. Just as there's many parts around the digital world and different Digimon, there's a utopia / the hub world, and essentially divide up into different parts, which is unique in their own way, which I really like. And the crazy part is one of them is only like a post game boss dungeon rush, you want to call it, just basically boss rush. And I really like the differences in how it makes your gameplay more self-satisfying, if I want to say that. And well, speaking of post game, the post game is actually very fun, very challenging if you like challenges for you, and it's to the point where if you can even see me struggling with max levels, Digimon ultras and stuff like that, and it's downright challenging, and I kind of have a satisfaction with that, and it's very rewarding. And the post game has a lot to offer as far as recruitments and story, and I'm happy I continued off it. But to be fair, I'm going to start listing my negatives because, I think I should speak on my gripes with the game. So as I do remember, the first time I picked up the game is ball-bustingly slow, which is what turned me and a lot of people turned off because it's so damn slow in the beginning. It kind of sucks to see it's like that. And another problem I have with the game is that the worlds are very, very big, and getting around can feel like a chore. And yes, you can do quick travel, once you're able to, but it feels like extreme. You can only either travel the entrance of the world or the depths, which is very unfortunate, and there is no in between. That and the combination of how slow it feels to move around the worlds it doesn't help the case. And it feels like you're walking on a treadmill sometimes because the world is so big of the most of the time. And I found myself zoning out going to A to B, wishing I can go faster, which is also makes you facepalm when you have to backtrack. To add another annoyance I have with the game was enemy spawning. Me being at high level with Mega and Ultra Digimon on the level should prevent me from being attacked from other Digimon. That is not the case, but I felt like some enemies are always planning to be aggressive, which is annoying. And when a good chunk of the enemies spawn in a one-way walkway, or as soon as you step in a loading zone, and again you have to backtrack for whatever, is a real headache. So it's a real pain for Digimon respawning in the area, and they're always aggressive, so they always attack you. And if you're backtracking, you still gotta fight these Digimon for the umpteenth time. Especially if you're in a small walkway, it gets really annoying very quickly. You notice I didn't mention combat up until now, and that's because it's decent, but I feel like something needs to be addressed. Most of the battles are okay, but boy, when so much is going on, it tends to lag a little bit. And when enemies are using their moves, the turnover can be a little confusing, and sometimes you feel like you don't know the hell's going on. And the battle initiative has some problems too, such as getting the arena having trouble loading or a little bit laggy, and the game drags you some distance to have that battle. So say if you're in a tight spot, the game will make you go to a certain spot to have enough opening for the arena, which kind of sucks. And to make matters worse, the enemies are going to be aggressive, and they catch you because you slowly moving away. So if you're in a one way, you're going to inevitably get into a battle, just like I said my last time. And it just really, the small spaces that really kill this game, even though it's so big, but where they place the enemies can be a drag. So a little weird how the battle mechanics and the loading of the digital battle arena. So they need to fix that. I don't know if it's the glitchiness or anything like that, but yeah, the battle loading and sometimes the combat can be a little confusing. That's one of my main problems with the game. But to be fair, before I forget, it don't happen often. Like there's some tight spaces. Most of the time when you get into a battle, it's an open area. You don't need to squeeze anything, but some parts need to be addressed. I also want to touch on the difficulty curve, especially in the early. It felt as hard as I can still remember, but there is a point where you can explore many worlds without much restriction and not linear like I did post in the positives, which is good, but at the same time it's unfortunate because you can open yourself to get creamed because there wasn't a level barrier before the area, and again you will get caught and sent packing because you're moving slow. So it sort of forces you to grind to do other things, and so you go through the story in some areas alive. That's why you can be unscathed, and that's why I said in the beginning the story wasn't the biggest thing for me, and it kind of sucks that it kind of forces you to grind, so you won't get your ass beat going to the X area, moving slow. So that's why you kind of forget what the hell you're doing in the story because you're just grinding, if that makes sense. Last thing I want to touch on is the materials and the time. The materials in the game that have very uses, but for mainly building the city and are spread out throughout the game. And while you do have resources to get them from the outside too and the inside, for being in the zone, it feels like a real chore because you get a few at a time, and it contributes to the grind feeling. One can get the next city building and an upgrade to take as long as a day, but it takes roughly one day. And mind you, these upgrades are hard to get, so it kind of feels heavy when you expend your resources, and you have to take a couple more days to get some more resources for the next upgrade. And it's just a really big chore at the end of the day, and it kind of demotivates you to do it because it feels so scarce. Everything but common stuff feels so scarce. So there's grace to certain materials like super rare, blah blah blah, and a lot of that super rare stuff you need. So at the end of the day, it kind of makes you feel like, what the hell's the point? So that's why me personally in my playthrough, I kind of just got enough to do what I wanted to make my comfortable playthrough comfortable, if that makes sense. So I just basically got all the upgrades I felt was necessary as I kept playing through. Oh yeah, before I forget, there's also another thing in the game where the time, it's kind of finicky. The only way you can speed up time is going to sleep, and it sucks because there's only certain events at certain parts of the day, certain recruitments certain parts of the day, and it takes a long time to chore. And unfortunately, as far as I know, there's really not much time, I think, outside of training and sleeping to fast forward time. In conclusion, the best way to approach this game is not to shoot through the main story. And even if you're a person that loves doing side missions before you do the main missions, this game's for you. And I highly recommend this game. Even though it does have shortcomings, the price that's at right now is really good and it makes it a hidden gem. And it's definitely worth the money, especially if you're a digital, catch it on digital sale right now. It's about maybe like $10. This is one of the few games that I rebought, and I'm kind of glad I did. It really gave me self-satisfaction that I really didn't understand or kind of grasp the first time. And I really hope the next Digimon game they have some more CGI cutscenes. You know, oh, I'm sorry if I'm not using CGI right. Some more nice cutscenes at the beginning of the game. It was kind of a shame that was the only nice cutscene they had, which is very high quality. And I hope you can move around your Digimon next time, because like I said, the game is very big, and you know there's a lot of flying Digimon, Digimon that can roll around, stuff like that. I really hope they do implement that in some sort of fashion. But that's my recommendation. Cop this game, it's a hidden gem, especially if you have a lot of time on your hands. Make sure you check it out if you love Digimon. And yeah, if you like side missions and main story within the side missions and how it all come together nicely, this game is for you. And if you want to try something new, I highly recommend this game. But let me know how I did on this video. I'd like some feedback. I know I was kind of like half script, half off the dome. I'm still trying to learn this because some stuff really just don't go on a pen and pad for me. But yeah, let me know how things go. Tell me how you like this video. Do you plan on copying this game? How you play the Digimon game on PS4? Are you even interested in Digimon? Let me know in the comments below. And I hope you guys have a good day. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Have a good day. Goodbye.